What's up, guys? I'm Vocal Strike and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy IX. Last time, we had participated in the Festival of the Hunt and also got drugged by Dagger, who ran off with Steiner somewhere. But we're thinking she headed for Bermesia, who is also currently under attack. And this time, we are going to be leaving Limblum and start doing side stuff. I will say though, I did buy a few healing items. Like I just went ahead and bought some, let's do this. Bought some sauce and knuckle screens because honestly, I like keeping stocked up if possible. And I bought 10 more potions because honestly, we're going to need those. I did not buy any more tents, so I was tempted. But as you can see, we don't really have much in the way of money now. So, no tents for us. So, we are going to go down to the base level. So, there are a few things we can honestly grab here. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was just checking notes. So we're gonna want to go to Serpent's Gate first. This is not where we need to go to progress, but there is stuff here. So, we open up the chest and we get a wire card. We head out and we see the docks, which isn't really in much use anymore. I remember there being something here though. I could also just be misremembering and confusing it for... Okay, yeah. I was misremembering. Get up the stairs. But we will be seeing that dock again in the future. Next, we actually want to go to Dragon's Gate, which is where we're supposed to go. So, we talked to this guy here. You're all gonna travel through the mist. Care to buy anything before you head out? He will sell you, your usual healing items. Nothing special. But I have done some shopping before leaving Limbo. We go over here, though. And we get a tent. Which is nice. Next. I don't think we actually... Yeah, we did not take a look at the Master Hunter key item last episode. Sorry. Master Hunter. I shall follow in the footsteps of Cid I, the Explorer King. The true hunter must seek his targets in the sky. Previous Master. So... Yeah, Cid I is more or less Final Fantasy 1, but Cid was never in the original game. So, in the remakes, that was retconned for an NPC to reference them, saying that the airship that you fly in that game was made by Cid, by a man named Cid. But you never meet Cid, you never get to see what he looks like, none of that. It is literally, and it's only in the remakes of Final Fantasy 1. Remakes and re-releases of Final Fantasy 1. It's a small retcon that does not affect the overall story of Final Fantasy 1. So that way it so that Square Enix can kind of continue putting a Cid into every Final Fantasy game. Okay, check them on that. I got a letter from Stiltskin. Do you know Stiltskin, Kupo? I left Limblem and headed north. I walked through the mist and Gizmaluk to reach Bermesia for the very first time. It's raining, as expected. I'm gonna look for shelter now. He went to Bermesia? It might be dangerous there, Kupo. And, of course, we can save in tent if we have to. We don't really need a tent. But we are going to save onto a new save file as per usual. And then we're going to leave. And of course, as expected, we're not going to be heading to Bermesia right away. This is a JRPG after all. Whenever something significant pops up, chances are there's also side stuff to do as well. We're going to want to do the side stuff first as per usual. We're not on any sort of timer. Thank God. Oh, new enemy. These are ladybugs. However, they have a slight name change depending on which version you have. In the non-PAL versions, they are called ladybugs. So these are like North American versions, etc. American, Japanese versions, etc. However, in the PAL versions, they are called ladybirds. They're not very tough. I believe they are also the only enemy that have a different name depending on which version of the game you're playing. As you can guess, since these were called ladybugs, this is the North American version of the game. Well, a North American version of the remaster on PS5 and PS4. Hey, level ups all around! And we even get a free potion. How close are we to learning? 2 away? We are very much 2 away. But the first thing we want to do is enter here. Q's Marsh. Sound familiar? So that marsh or swamp that Zidane pointed out in the telescope, that was Q's Marsh. And if we move forward ahead, yeah, we see these 2 Moogles. These were from the tutorial ATEs. That we are no longer going to get, if memory serves. However, if we talk to him, the monster, well, we tell him to teach us some stuff, and if there's anything you forgot, you can literally just go to Accused Marsh, talk to him, and you can review. I just need directions. Hey, if you want to go to Bermesia, it's further north. Okay, yeah, so he basically tells you where to go next. Head to Bermesia. However, So these are actually kind of the only Moogles that don't really do, that don't have that, well, one of only the very few Moogles in this game that doesn't have any sort of magnet tied to it, or or and one of the only few Moogles in the game that doesn't let you save or tent. Hungry. So, whatever that thing is, we're going to want to catch a frog. And then, give it to them. You got frog. Frog's very good. Who the heck are you? Me? This is Quina. Gender unknown, between 70 and 90 years old. So, my guess is, and they are ambidextrous, which is actually very rare in people. So, my guess is that the Cube Tribe race are just a long-lived race, so probably 70 and 90 is actually not very long for a Q. But they never really explain that. Quina, do you want this frog? Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Quina also tends to think with their stomach over their heads. Alright, here. Yay! Quina received a frog. Qs also really love frogs. They're a delicacy, in fact. Mine. You pathetic, Quina. Can't even feed yourself. This is quail. Can't master art of eating, just chasing frogs, Quina. So that's kind of also a bit of a running, as you could probably notice, there's also a bit of a running theme when it comes to those of the Q tribe. Their names always seem to start with the letters Q, U, no matter what. But master, frog's very good. Frog's here best, better than Alexandria's. Quina, you in darkness need some light. World big place, many foods. Yeah, it's not just Quina that thinks with their stomach. Qs tend to be very, very good chefs, and they'll eat just about anything. Alexandria just one kingdom. You need to go out more. Eat other food. Go out into world? Sounds scary. Are there yummier frogs outside? Of course, many good frogs. All Qs love frogs best. Eating frogs is key to growth. Q marshes exist all over world. Go eat frogs in other marshes. I promise you get much learning. Traveler, please show Quina the world. Anywhere with food good. At this point in the game, Quina is optional. You don't need to recruit them. However, we don't have a full party of 4. We're going to recruit them. On top of that, later in the game, they are required to recruit. So you might as well just get it out of the way now. You want me to take him with us? Why not? Will I find yummier frogs outside? There's plenty of stuff in the world that tastes better than frogs. Really? Okay, I go with you. Yeah, Quina's a bit of an oddball. What's up, Vivi? That man looks exactly like my grandpa. Your grandfather? Who? That quail guy? Yeah. Maybe he knows my grandpa. I'm gonna go talk to him, Zidane. Fair enough. But this more or less kind of confirms that Vivi's grandfather was of the Q tribe. What's wrong? Something on my face? Do you know a man named Guan? I not know that bigot. Grandpa Guan was a bit strange, but how do you know him? I no can answer. Grandpa Guan looks exactly like you, Mr. Quail. Of course, we from same tribe. Quail literally says, I don't know him. As you can probably guess, he's lying. And he's lying very poorly. You really don't know him? No, I not know this Guan. Honestly? That's too bad. Let's go, Vivi. Okay. But also, as you can probably guess, Quail does not like Guan at all. But we now have, believe it or not, our blue mage. I'm not kidding. Quina is your blue mage. And the fork that we stole from the Zagno back at during the Festival of the Hunt, that is Quina's weapons. Being a connoisseur and chef in training, Quina's weapons are forks. And here's a little fun fact. All of the forks are the same. I'm not kidding. Every single fork teaches them high tide. Just with better stats as it goes up. There is no extra ability or anything like that. It's just high tide. That's it. Letterus is just better. So we're gonna want to outfit them. Okay, add status. And there's not a lot of abilities that Quina can learn right out the gate. But that millionaire ability is one of them. That Zidane is learning from the yellow scarf. There is some decent amount of support abilities that Quina can learn that the others can learn as well. Like Bird Killer and whatnot, but there's also some support abilities that can only be taught to Quina. Millionaire is one of them. Which is actually a pretty decent ability. Especially if you're strapped for cash. Which I actually kinda want to do. But you can also see that Quina can't really learn any active abilities. That's another thing that's unique about them. Is that no matter what the equipment is, Quina can never learn active abilities from them. That is because Quina is a blue mage. And for those that are unfamiliar with blue mages, since they're not in every Final Fantasy game, but they are in some, Final Fantasy IX being one of them, is that they learn more spells and abilities from enemies. It's just that how the blue mages tend to learn these abilities is different from game to game. We will be getting into that here soon-ish. Mysterious Fort that causes the opposite effect of soft. Add status Petrify. Combat fork used by the Q clan. Add status, and of course, High Tide. Allows you to trance faster. Whenever you get hit by an attack, which normally increases your trance gauge, it will increase a bit more than it would normally. As you can guess, getting tranced a lot is actually really good. which is why it costs 8 magic stones over 8 magic stones, which is actually pretty damn expensive. But we really have nothing other than ad status for Quina to get, so we might as well. And the first thing we want to do is catch frogs. Today, can I catch frogs? Frogs again? Sure, just for a little while. Thanks. This is going to be important. We are going to want to catch as many frogs as possible. We actually get rewarded for doing so. And once we hit the 100th frog, well, something special will happen. An event will happen. So we want to get as many frogs as humanly possible. However, it should be noted that you're going to want to keep a male frog, a female frog, and a gold frog, if any, left in the swamp. Catching gold frogs do not add points. Each frog is only worth 1. But how you can tell between male and female, other than just catching one in the game just telling you if it's male or female, is by the stripes and the color of the frogs. Male frogs are a lighter green, are a slightly lighter green than the females, but the stripes on their side is also like a little bit yellow or lighter green that you can see here. The female frogs are of a slightly darker green than the males, with black stripes going along their sides. So there is actually a visual difference. It's not just random or you have to keep track. You can do it that way. I don't recommend it. So we're going to catch this one. And that was a female. We're going to keep that. I do see a few other males, so we can keep this. And we already caught 2 frogs and we're immediately getting rewarded by quail. You working hard, Quina. You come far along, way of gourmand. I give you this. We get an ore. Thank you, Master Quail. I train more. The more frogs we get, the better the rewards. I do see a few other females, so we're keeping that. We're gonna keep this. And next, that leaves 2 males, a gold, and a female. So we're gonna want to grab 1 more male. And we're done. You working hard, Quina. You come far a long way of gourmand. I give you this. We get an ether. For now, it's literally just items, but some of the rewards here is literally like better equipment. As well as catching frogs is also tied to one of Quina's abilities that we are going to be getting actually relatively soon. But the reason why we actually want to we want to leave a male and a female frog is so that they can propagate. They will respawn over time after you leave Q's Marsh no matter what. But leaving behind a male and female will actually respawn the frogs faster because the idea is that they're propagating. A gold frog will make more spawn even faster. So you're going to want to keep those for now. Had enough, Quina? I done catching. However, we will be coming back to these marshes to catch frogs whenever the opportunity arises. And I am... Now that we have Quina, there is actually 2 enemies here that that we actually want to encounter, both of which gives Quina blue spells. But now that we also have Quina, any of the bios that gives any enemies like Quina some blue magic, we are going to be we are going to be be added to the BIOS from now on. Ah, damn it. That was too strong. So how the blue spells kind of work in this game is that in order for Quina to learn a blue spell, they have to eat the enemy. I'm not kidding. However, they can only eat enemies that have a quarter or less of their maximum health remaining. Quina can also not eat bosses. But Quina also can hit hard, can be slightly tanky, which is why they are best in the front row. But you notice I'm using they them pronouns for Quina. That's because, as you saw in the introduction, there's the other enemy. As you saw in the introduction, their gender is unknown. And it never really comes up what gender Quina identifies, if at all. So there are times where they'll call Quina, they'll use male pronouns for Quina. There are times where where characters will use female pronouns for Quina. And there are times where they'll use a term called Sahi, which is S/HE. Because they don't... there we go. We got our first blue spell, Frog Drop. That's because this was first released on PlayStation, back in 2000? And back during the early 2000s and late 90s, or like just the 90s and older, calling people by they, them wasn't really much of a thing. So they had to do something. And it doesn't really seem like Quina really cares or pays attention to it. Because Quina never comes out or tries to correct them. They don't try to... They don't call themselves by using any pronouns. Either Quina doesn't pay attention to the pronouns being used for them. Or they just don't care. So, our first blue spell, as you can see there's a lot of them, we will be gaining them all, is Frog Drop. Once you eat an enemy to learn a blue spell, this instantly kills the enemy. If an enemy doesn't give Quina any blue spells, then Quina will not eat them. Amount of damage depends on the number of frogs you have caught. This is another part of the frog minigame, and this is also the reason why you want to catch as many frogs as possible. Because the more frogs you catch, the stronger the spell becomes. At max level, I believe you have to... At max level, you catch 101 frogs, and Frog Drop will do the maximum amount of damage of 9,999 at max level. If Queen is at max level. So at minimum, you just need to catch 101 frogs and then just farm Quina up to maximum level, to max level, which I believe is level 99. Or, alternatively, you can catch more than 101 frogs until Frog Drop is at max damage. So now I have to go back and find those axolotls. Also on screen, because there were before we ever got Quina, we also ran into enemies that could actually have taught some blue magic. Those enemies will now, as well as what blue spells they had available, will be up on screen right now. Yeah, these axolotls are not very strong. Nom, 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 nom. There we go, Aqua Breath. Aqua Breath. Causes water damage to all enemies. I believe this is actually the only way to inflict water damage on enemies. Vivi does not learn a single... Actually, does Vivi learn a water spell? No! Either Vivi doesn't learn wind or water spells, one or the other. I think, now that I think about it, it's actually wind. So, never mind me, forget what I said. I am going based off of memory here, and my memory tends to be horseshit. But with that done, we actually want to return to Lindblum now. Yeah, we actually do want to return to Limblum. There are some blue spells that we can learn here if we run into them, and I will attempt that, but we have to come back here anyway. Oh, I believe that's actually, yeah, I believe that is actually one of the enemies we actually want to learn a blue spell from. Oh no! I pushed the wrong button. Okay. Okay, they rolled low. The damage output for Quina can be a bit rampant. There it is. That is Pumpkinhead. And we're gonna have to get Freya back up. I'm not gonna bother using healing items because we're gonna go over to the inn anyway. Let's take a look at Pumpkinhead. Damages with the difference between your max HP and current HP. This can actually be good if you're in a bad spot. And the higher level that Quina gets, the stronger this spell's gonna get because the more HP they're gonna have. Anyway, I will see you over at the business district. And we are back. I did go rest up at the inn. So what we want to do is come down here. This is another way to leave Limblum to come at a completely different spot. And it is here that we're going to be coming across some new enemies. So where we exited out of was the Hunter's Gate. So the first thing we want to do is enter the forest because... Ooh, I think that's another new hit. And it's a back attack. But yeah, that beak enemy is one of the enemies we're looking for. First thing we want to get rid of those is Carved Spider. Now these axe beaks can put you to sleep. Which is annoying. Because if you recall, if all your party members fall asleep, it's considered a game over. Now I need to weaker. But if you are asleep and you are attacked by a physical attack, be it via skill or just a standard attack or whatever, you will instantly wake up. There we go, Limit Glove. Causes non-elemental damage to the target when your HP is 1. If you are literally at 1 HP, Limit Glove is another one that's also kind of good to use in a pinch. Now to look around the forest for the next enemy on the list. Oh yeah, the Carved Spider is also another one we're looking for. Oh, nope. There we go. Level 3 defenseless. I know it's spelled like deathless, but let's be honest, the def means defense. Reduces defense of enemies whose levels are multiples of 3. Oddly specific, but if you want to lower defense, this is kind of one of the only ways to do it. You're never really going to know in-game the levels of an enemy outside of the ability scan, or just by testing this spell and see if it works. Otherwise, you are looking up a guide. I never used it. I never really needed to. But since we are aiming for all of the abilities, some abilities that Quina's used is going to be kind of useless to us. That being one of them. There you are! We get to fight a bomb proper, and this one actually has an ability we want. The thing is, we're on a timer with this thing. Nom 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 nom. There we go. Mustard bomb. Mustard bomb. Causes heat to the enemy. So, what heat does, because we have never really come across it before, is that it is kind of a nasty ability. I believe they did mention it in Mockster, but it's still kind of unique and worth mentioning. Any character, be it a party member or enemy, that is inflicted with the heat status effect, the moment they move at all, do any sort of action, they will instantly die. But I believe it can be cured by hitting them with blizzard or water and cooling them off that way. Because I guess like the idea is that they're getting hit with a heat stroke. But heat isn't really brought up much in Final Fantasy as far as I know. We also want to take a look around here. This is Pinnacle Rock. Warning. There are reports of an old man's ghost appearing here at Pinnacle Rocks. We were unable to verify the rumor, but we recommend staying away from this area. Limblum Area 2 Security Corps. We will be coming here later, but we want to come here now because while yes, we will be coming here later much later, there's really no reason not to grab the stuff here now. So here we get an elixir and a phoenix down. Not bad. Elixirs are especially nice, since I believe, yeah, fully restores HP and MP, and they're not exactly sold in stores hardly anywhere, so they're hard to come by. Any and all elixirs that we can get are very much welcome. Next, I will see you back over where, over at the area where we first acquired Quina. Outside of Q's Marsh, of course. Hey, on the way back, Freya learned Antibody. Which is coming from... the bronze gloves. So now we can upgrade her to... She's already learning Mania from the Coral Rain, so we'll upgrade her to the silver gloves to teach her on Dead Killer for now. Okay, now that we're back, there are 3 enemies that we can learn blue spells from. So we got one that's like over here. We can run into like 2 here, I believe. Here's one of them. I believe this is a Serpian? Yes. So the thing is with Serpians is that once you attack, it switches over to an attack stance. And then it will start countering by trying to inflict poison on you whenever you do damage. And of course, poison counter also still hurts. There we go. Mighty Guard. Cast Shell and Protect on all party members. This is the only way to have Shell and Protect multi-target to your party members. Otherwise, if Dagger learns Shell and Protect, she can only cast it to one party member at a time. So yeah, despite how Quina gets their abilities through blue magic and literally just by eating them, Quina does actually have some versatility to them. They are very useful, despite being a little bit odd. This was still back in the day when Square Enix was not afraid to get weird with Final Fantasy. I mean, with the remakes they did now, but that is also a remake of Final Fantasy VII, which in and of itself had its weird moments. They don't really do the whole weird thing much, at least with Final Fantasy 16. But sometimes weird in a game that does have somewhat of a serious story can be a good thing. Ooh. And BB has learned to add status. Okay, so all he has left to learn from the glass buckle is antibody. Wow, this game be out to get me today. Uh-oh. Run away. No! Annihilated. First game over. If I press continue, where does that put me? Because continue is the autosave. Okay, that puts me out here. Do I have... I do not, so I'm going to have to get Mighty Guard back. That shouldn't be a problem. Their Ionites are easy. Serpians are easy enough to find, not Ionites. Oh! Well, this was the enemy I was looking for before the game over. The Vice. Vice will steal your shit. They're also not very tough. Yeah, they'll steal your shit and then run away. And even if you kill them, you cannot, once they steal it, it's gone for good. Which makes getting the Vice's blue spell a bit annoying, to say the least. On top of that, they're not very tough, so both Quina and Zidane can one-shot them. Okay, got Mighty Guard back. Alright, you little shitheads. There we go. Vanish. Finally. we can move on to our final target. At least for now. And of course, I also had to relearn Antibody. Okay, yeah, we're gonna want to take this off. Nope, not that one. And we want to take the desert boot off. Let's put the desert boots onto you. And equip yellow scarf onto you so that you can learn Millionaire. So, Vanish. Makes a party member disappear. This grants them invisibility. Where anyone that's afflicted with the invisibility status will not be able to be hit by any physical attacks, but magic can still draw them out. Oh, whoops. And then finally, Millionaire. Receive more gil after battle. Which is why it costs us 5 magic stones. If you really, really need money, Millionaire is the way to go. And I believe the only one that can actually learn Millionaire is Quina. So, now we're going to want to move on to another part of the map away from Gizmalu's Grotto. I am going to run away from all fights as of this point, because I don't want to get too strong. But there is an enemy that we can still get a blue spell from that we can't find in this area. So you're going to want to go like to the east on the map here until you find this bridge and cross it. Then you're going to want to hang around that where all those trees are. Because the enemy we're looking for is near that forest. And you are not it. So yeah, you're going to want to hang around Chocobo's forest here. So that forest where we saw the Chocobo nearby on the telescope, that is Chocobo's forest. Here you are, Ionite. Or Ironite. These guys are actually fairly tough this early on. They actually have a decent amount of HP. So we don't exactly want to be gentle here. Unfortunately, we don't have any way of lowering its HP down to 1 yet. Hopefully that's enough. Nope. Flame. Oh. Still not weak enough, huh? We're gonna need both of you up. And let's hope it doesn't cast Flame again. Thundara. He's it. Nope. I was really hoping you'd hit Freya with that. There we go. Angel Snack. And with that, that is all of the blue spells that Quina can learn for now. So let's have a little look-see. Angel Snack uses Remedy on all party members for 4 MP. This is really good, especially later in the game. If you don't have any remedies, or you have like multiple party members afflicted with multiple status effects that remedies can cure, and you have Quina in your active party, oh, it is nice. It is nice. It is very much worth your time to invest in Quina's blue magic. Okay. So with all of that now done, next time on Final Fantasy IX, we check out Chocobo's Forest and see what that one's about. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on all my videos. And please do consider supporting me on Patreon, Pixel Fan Boss, and Subscribe Star. It really does help me out. You'd be supporting me in the channel, and I would be able to hopefully make better content for you guys. And if you honestly are one of those that really do make it this far, you are an absolute legend. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I really hope you are actually enjoying my Let's Plays. I know they're not as popular as they used to be, but I really do hope you are enjoying my LPs nonetheless. Especially since this one has been really different compared to what I have done so far. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.